John said, I applied for an ISSO Information System
Okay.
Security Officer at Raytheon. What interview questions should I anticipate? Okay. So if you're an Information System Security Officer, they're going to ask you about um NIST 853. They're going to ask you about NIST 837. They're going to ask you how they're going to ask you questions. So what they're going to want to know is if you know how to apply the NIST 800 to whatever situation that you're going to be in. So what they'll start doing is hitting you with a bunch of acronyms to see if you know what those acronyms are and how familiar you are with the whole framework. They're going to ask you a question like, okay, you have a POA&M and it's slowing down your ability to attain an ATO. So right now they're already throwing a whole bunch of stuff at you. You're like, what the hell? If you've been in this field for a while, what a plan of action and milestone is, where it applies in the NIST 837, what's going on with an authority to operate an ATO.
Yeah.
They're going to ask you situational questions that applies to make sure that what's going on with the risk management framework process. That's what they're going to try to gauge you on is, do you know what this framework is, NIST 800 risk management framework, NIST 800, and do you know how to apply it to specific situations? All their questions are going to be involved with that. They might ask some some NIST F questions if they're involved. The best thing you can do is this: go to the Raytheon's job description page, and read through exactly what they're going to have you do, their requirements, everything, and study it, and then figure out how you would answer each one of those requirements. And don't try to BS them. If you don't know it, just say you don't know.
That's a hidden gem because what PBO does is I'm gonna ask you a question on purpose. I know you don't know the answer, and you'd be amazed how many people try to BS me. And I'm waiting because there's some tech. If you're not FIPS, or I might ask you something about a PIV card, something I know that you're not gonna know the answer, and I'm gonna watch and see if you just say you don't know. You're gonna try to make some up. The other part of that is understand your program process. The one thing we're trying to do is do some labs and some study groups on what actually is a program process. The thing I get answered a lot of times is you had a finding, but you couldn't apply it. What would you do? All right. Like you said, I did a mitigated control, and a lot of times they want you to get technical. We couldn't patch it. The developers did something to the program. We couldn't upgrade the patch. That program was used internally, but it was externally on the internet. So I say, I'm gonna bring it internal. And the other part about he just said is, if you log into that app now, I'm gonna make sure you use MFA. And then part of that, it was only 5 people using it. I made them do reserved IPs, and only those IPs could get to the sub that particular application was running. But they're gonna test you a lot of times because I've been doing this for over. I just say what I said. I take over a meeting. I just tell them how I would run a program, right? And a lot of times when I talk, and if they start nodding, I'll go, okay, they're on the same page as me. So I'm gonna tell them how I would run the program. Especially as an ISO, you run the program. So what are you gonna have people do? Like I said, what is a poem? If you're in the cloud, what's your shared responsibility? Are you using infrastructure, platform, or software as a service? If you couldn't, once again, fix a finding, what's your mitigated controls? What have you done opposite? Can you walk through something like that with me? So I walk through something at a high level. You got to have your 2-minute elevator speech. So whatever you ask me, I probably got a 2-minute speech for you. So
Exactly. Now, like I said, to anticipate what questions they're going to ask, the best thing you can do is go down and look at their description and go down each one of the things that they're wanting for that job, and then quiz yourself on those questions before you even do the interview, so that you'll know what they're going to go off of your resume, and they're going to go off of the job description. Those are the questions that they're going to ask you. If they ask you anything outside of that, then those weren't that important. Those questions are preferred things that they would like you to have, but not necessarily have to have. But the things that are the requirements on the actual job description, those are the things that you want to anticipate that they're going to ask you. Okay, let me see if I have any other.
Then real quick on that is like you said at the ISO level, they're gonna ask you how you run your program, how you handle different situations. So you should
Oh
have
yeah,
all that in your back pocket. And
absolutely.
maybe because I'm old and grumpy, I've been doing. I'm just gonna tell you how I run the program. I don't even read the job description anymore. I'm gonna tell you what I've done, man. But don't follow me. I think he gave actually. This is what I done, man. You either want me not. You saw my resume, so this is how I done it. And I tell people I'm about this life, so I'm gonna tell you what I did and how I did it. So if I'm a good fit or not. But two is a lot of two. Raytheon is super corporate, right? So you got to have the golf shirt on. You got to go to the golf outing. You got to shake hands and slap backs. They're gonna make you come somewhere at least once a quarter. So you got to know what kind of culture you're signing up for. Now, PBO, I'm versatile, right? I really want to be at home in my pajamas, but hey, I'm Chunky Woods. I can kill you on a golf course, man. I can come out for a little work, man. So you got to be able to, because when you're doing Raytheon, those big 3POs, that's a different game, man. They got you in a ton of meetings, and people gonna try you. What I mean, try you. They gonna ask you buzzwords to see if you know what you're doing. They're
Absolutely.
and when you get hired, even people in other organizations, because this is a top fittest thing, so people are trying to show you up and trying to outdo you. So they're gonna test you to see if you really know what you're talking about, man. So I tell people, I'm gonna show you how smart I am. I'm about this life, but that corporate thing can be a little doggy dog. So you gotta know what you sign up when you step in that Raytheon world. What's your thoughts on that? That's my thought, because I worked for Khaki. I worked under Raytheon as a sub, especially as a sub, and I thought those guys were they was testing me. Do you really know what you say? And I go, yeah, I do. Let's do it, man. So that's my thought. I thought it was a little rough, man.
Absolutely. What they'll do is they'll give you situations. They won't flat out ask you the question. What they'll do is they'll give you a situation to see what your experience was with plan of action milestones, or with dealing with difficult customers, or with applying a security control, or working with the system team to apply a security control. They'll ask you specific situational questions, and the best cheat sheet you can use is their own job description. That's they're gonna ask directly from the job description and from your resume, and that's the best